With my BMW N54-powered car passing its 17th birthday, I thought I would pass on 5 must-service items for any N54 with a new owner. With these 5 service items taken care of, we can reverse the aging process and ensure your N54 BMW lives peacefully into its golden years. The first and easiest service on this list is the serpentine belt. Regardless of belt squeak or not, replace the accessory belt on the front of your engine so you have a stout piece of rubber winding around the front of your motor to all of its accessories. The N54 has a tendency to eat ripped belts, which is no good. The crank pulley sends the strips of torn belt through the front crank seal into the motor, which gets picked up by the oil pump, causing catastrophic damage. Even though belts don't often spontaneously destruct, you never know what leaks or life this belt has been subjected to. For $25, you can prevent your N54 from meeting an untimely demise. You'll need a 1/2-inch ratchet with a T60 Torx to relieve the tension on the tensioner and change the belt. It's easiest to access the belt with this intake scoop and the radiator fan removed, which isn't challenging. There's just one 8mm screw up here that holds in the rad fan and an electrical connection to go to the radiator fan under this. After that, shimmy the fan out and you should be able to see the front of the motor pretty well. Next up is a service you do almost entirely from the top half of the engine as well. As any N54 fan knows, they are direct injected, which offers great power potential but also leads to carbon buildup on the back of the intake valves. To remedy the sticky, oily mess on the valves, technicians use a media blaster and crushed walnut shell to gently abrade the carbon buildup off the back of the valves. The service is often neglected because it's usually tackled around every 50,000 miles. This means the car could easily change hands from owner to owner without tempting the pricey service. A shop will charge you $800 to $1,000 to get this service done, but I made a video showing how I got it done for under $200. Clean valves take away a potential restriction in the intake, and people often report a renewed smoothness at idle and power delivery after cleaning the intake valves. Help your N54 breathe easy and clean out its mouth. Under the car, we find our next service item, the water pump. If the last time the water pump was changed is a mystery to you, do yourself a favor and save yourself the cost of a tow and get your water pump changed. The water pumps, although sometimes thorough code when they begin to fail, often leave you completely stranded or overheated when the electric motor fails. Get a VDO pump from FCP Euro for $500 plus a Saturday of work and you'll give yourself a peace of mind to take that road trip. Now, if the pump doesn't leave you stranded, the infamous Mickey Mouse flange will. It's this piece right here under the oil cooler lines on my car. This plastic cooling hose coupling in front of the oil filter housing is known to degrade over time and crack off during a moment of weakness. My bonus tip is to replace this at the same time as the pump with a billet aluminum design and prevent the hassle down the road. Now let's delve deeper into the all too common oil filter housing gasket failure. When this gasket fails, it opens up a host of potential problems, one of which is potentially mixing your oil with your coolant, which can present as a faulty head gasket. Additionally, a failing gasket can lead to oil leaking on the serpentine belt, causing it to weaken and eventually tear. This leak tends to make a proper mess of your engine bay, as the leak covers over so many different components over the engine bay, which can make it hard to diagnose other leaks going on. It's not just an eyesore, it's a clear signal that there's action needed to be taken to safeguard the health of your N54. You can pick up an L-ring gasket and bolt set from FCP Euro for $72 US and have the problem solved. Some technicians get by removing the oil filter housing system without taking off the intake manifold, but it sure makes it a lot easier if you do take off the intake manifold. The work is truly never done when you own a BMW, so take care of your oil pan gasket. This service is vital due to the significant volume of oil that can leak from the oil pan gasket. The rubber used in this gasket has endured thousands of heat cycles by now, rendering it more brittle than your favorite bag of Dorito chips. Imagine the aftermath of a large oil leak. Not only does it create a mess, but low oil levels pose a serious threat to your engine's health. Replacing the oil pan gasket is no small feat. It requires lowering the subframe, making it a substantial service. Just remember to not cheap out on this one and replace all the aluminum bolts that hold the oil pan to the engine, as they are single-use fasteners. Overlooking their replacement might lead to future complications. So invest the time and effort now for a trouble-free ride down the road. With these 5 service items attended to, you give your N54 a fighting chance in the war against time. Check out my other BMW 335 N54 service videos in the links down in the description. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a good day.